Hey fellas, your commissioner here, coming at you for the first video of the year. First video of the year. Draft recap video sponsored by Pure Life. It used to be Nestle Pure Life, not anymore. Pure Life water. Healthy hydration, you want to recycle. It's water. I'm not, this is not going to make the best of. It's just water. Cheers, just got done mowing the yard, as you can probably tell. Look like shit, look tired. Didn't get the whole yard done. Hold on. Good stuff. Didn't get the whole yard done. Don't ever buy an electric lawnmower, guys. I got two batteries. Granted, the yard's probably about a week overdue to be mowed. Hand up, admit that. But, these things just run through juice. And, if you want to recharge it, guess what? You got to wait about 6 to 8 hours. You can't just go, fill up some gas. So, anyway, I digress. Another successful draft in the books, or I don't know, 14th, 15th, something season doing this, 13th maybe. I lose track. I could look it up very easily, but I'm too lazy to do that. I want to say 13th maybe, because I think we started in 2012. 2012 to 2015, I believe 13 years, right? So, anyway, a good week in Denver and Breckenridge. Breckenridge House obviously seemed to be the talk of the trip. Everybody loved it. A lot of people seemed to think that this was the one of the best houses we've ever had. I tend to agree. The setting was great. It seemed like there was plenty of space for everybody to kind of stretch out and sleep. Pool table, hot tub was cool. Outdoor, just being in nature was awesome. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but this very well could be the last time that we ever do something like that again, right? I mean, obviously we got Mexico on the horizon. I hope to see as many people there as we can get there. Eager to hear the results of the planning efforts for people that are doing that. I'm hands off on that this year. I mean it. Taking no part in that at all this year. Craig's in the draft room. That's interesting. Hey, Craig. What's up, buddy? Jeff Fisher. I think, soak it in, savor it. Obviously, the horse ass punishment, a little bit of a miss in my books, honestly. Didn't have the same buzz as kind of a man on the street like what we had in Nashville down on Broadway with Savoy a few years ago. It just looked kind of like a vagrant, homeless, transient person, just kind of slowly beating on drums like he's lost the will to live almost. You know what I mean, guys? So, anyways, it is what it is. It's done. I guess it just goes to show if you complain enough, the commish will take pity on you and things will go easier for you if you come in last, so you take that as you will, right? Who knows? Maybe that also might be dying. I don't know. Maybe punishments might be dying off. Maybe we're getting too old for it. Maybe we're outgrowing it. I don't know. I will say this though. I really appreciate all you guys' dedication and commitment before I get into the grades here. I know that's all you guys really care about, but because most of y'all probably just watch just your team and that's it. But I really appreciate you guys' dedication and commitment. Everybody showing up. Obviously, Nick on one leg was there from Tuesday all the way to Sunday. Didn't really see him that much. Obviously, couldn't go on many of the activities that we went on, but credit to him for gutting it out. Good, gritty performance for Nick to make it there and be there the whole time. A lot of guys probably would have made it only a few days or would have just said, fuck it, I'm not going. Credit to Nick there. Duncan, planes, trains, automobiles, made his way finally Friday morning to Breckenridge. JD lost the back, flight delays, 12-hour delays, finally made it on Wednesday night. Not the smoothest sailing getting there, but it seems like everybody got back in one piece all right. So, like I said, I really appreciate you guys. I want to keep doing this for as long as we can do it. Whatever form or facet or shape that may be in the future, so be it. The most important thing to me is sticking with you guys and really trying to see this thing through as long as we can. So, we do all these things to try to have fun and try to have a good time. If that group, gets smaller in the future, so be it. I'm not saying it has to. I'm not saying it will, but just if it does, so what? Maybe that's the way it is. And I know everybody's at different stages in their lives. Everybody's got priorities are constantly shifting in people's lives. Certainly no ill feelings, no hard feelings, no matter what, how things play out down the road. So without further ado, let's go ahead here, get into a recap of the draft. Lottery scratch-off tickets. Guy who wasn't even the two guys who weren't even there got number 1 and number 2. I wonder how that happened, right? The guy who works for the lottery center, he ends up with 101 when we do scratch-offs. Interesting. Kickers Lives Matter 101, Mr. Sleepy Duncan Bolch, 101 again. His second 101 in the last 3 years, right? Because he had 101 in Phoenix, the Phoenix Combine. Blew my mind with that one. So, there's basically been 2 guys who've had 101 for the last 4 years, and really they really haven't done quite shit at all, shit all with it. So we'll see if that trend continues. I actually saw an interesting stat, and again, I'm rambling here, but that's how we do it. First video of the year. I almost sent this in the group, but I think it was right on the heels of the potential shooting at the U of A, which sounds like, fortunately, was a hoax. Nobody was injured. Thank goodness for that. Yes. So the last 5 seasons, 101 has averaged 100. The player who's the consensus 101 has averaged 106 points. 0 players drafted 101 the last 5 seasons had over 200 points. Worst pick in the first round by statistically by far. Okay. 106 actually averaged 292 points for comparison. 101 averaged 106. 106 averaged 292. All 5 players that were drafted at 106 had over 200 points, with 4 of them scoring over 250 points. Best pick in the first round consistently. So, I think a lot of people want to avoid the middle, but it actually sounds like the numbers seem to bear out that maybe that is the best place to draft, and because you're never really waiting too long for picks. That's another thing on the turn. I mean, you get 101, and if it doesn't hit, you're not picking another player for another 23 picks, right? So that's a long time to wait. There's a lot of talent that falls off the board whenever your top guy is really doing nothing. So hopefully that doesn't happen for old Jamar. I've seen a lot of stuff that says Jamar was the safest first round pick of anybody that was going in the first round this year. Time will tell. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I'm hoping for you, Duncan. I don't want that to happen. I want somebody to break the curse, Duncan. I do. I want somebody to break the curse. Hopefully it'll be you. But his wide receiver core, Jamar Chase, Jacoby Myers, obviously kept Brian Thomas in the 6th, great value there. Adam Thielen in the 11th, recently traded back to Minnesota. Josh Palmer in the 12th, and Isaac Tesla in the 13th. Running backs, he kept Josh Jacobs at the back of the 2nd. He got James Cook, Quinshon Judkins, and Ramondre Stevenson. So he basically has 2 running backs on his team. No problem. Quinshon's not signed at all. He could go back to college. Florio, Pro Football Talk, he loves talking about players going back to college who don't sign. It's never happened. It's never going to happen, but he's talked about it multiple. He talked about it with Shamar Stewart, I think, with the Bengals earlier this year when he was holding out. Now he's talking about it with Quinshon Judkins. The investigation's still pending with Quinshon. Who knows? I mean, if he gets back and is good, great. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be him and Sampson running the show. Ramondre is just waiting to lose his job to the far, far more talented Travion Henderson. Quarterback, you got Baker Mayfield, Spencer Rattler, and he got the double stack tight end, Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, 2 old guys who are probably well past their prime, just hoping he can squeeze out one more good year out of both of them. Maybe, doubt it, but maybe. So, you look at his starting lineup, it's really not too bad. Obviously, Jacoby's a little disgruntled. Who knows? He wants to get out of town. Raiders are adamant they're not going to do that. There's really no other receiver threats on that team in my mind. Obviously, they just re-signed Amari, but I mean Brock is really the guy there, and you got Genty. But I think Jacoby will still be solid, at least wide receiver 3 for sure. And, BTJ and Jamar should be, if they're both top 5 guys again, then, you can certainly weather that storm. Thielen, who knows? Palmer, it's just a guy. Tesla, whatever. Rattlers, cut bait. It was a wasted pick. Baker, solid. We'll see. Without Liam in the show, will he have a little bit of regression? Who knows? Receivers keep getting older. I think I told the guys whenever before we left Breckenridge that I think it was going to be a D for Duncan. A D for Duncan. I think he has Jamar and Brian Thomas alone, Josh Jacobs, James Cook certainly are more deserving of a D grade for Duncan. So I guess I'll give Duncan a solid, I'll give him a B-. We'll give him a B-. Hawk said my grades are scam, right? I think, didn't he? No one gets a good grade. It's all scam. We love the humiliation. Yeah. What do I know, right? I mean, you guys just watched the best of, at least some of you, I hope. Pretty good views on the best of there. I think there's some other people maybe out there who've been watching that. But this is all. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what any of these guys are going to do. I mean, Duncan could just as easily finish 3-11 as he could finish 11-3, right? I mean, all options are on the table here, guys. Really, they are. Next here, we got Living on Burrow Time, Mr. Hunter Hawkins. What a trooper. Stuck it out for the entirety of the draft. Only stepped away for breaks. Did some cleaning while on the clock, despite his proxy, Nick DeLeon, which, thank you, Nick, for showing up. You're not going to watch this, but thank you for showing up and representing Hawk. I don't know how great of a job you did. You just kind of sat away from the computer most of the time and just let him do his thing. Hey, to teach their own. You're having a good time. That's what we love to see. So Hawk obviously went running back first. Bajan Robinson. He had Tyrone Tracy's, Zach Charbonnet, and Trey Benson to round out his running back core. So 3 backup running backs, because Scatterbo is going to be that guy in New York, you got to think. Wide receiver room, Tyreek Hill, Tet McMillan, Josh Downs, Trey Harris, Marvin Mims, Wandale Robinson, which has already been cut, and Andre Yoshivas. Tight end, he obviously kept George Kittle. Quarterback, he kept Joe Burrow, and he also picked up Cam Ward late. Cam Ward, looking for an eye to the future. A lot of question marks for me for this team. Obviously, Tyreek kind of burned a lot of bridges, it sounds like. Very surprised he's still in Miami. Been dealing with the oblique all offseason, hasn't practiced, hasn't really done anything. Who knows how that's going to pan out. Tet, rookie, but I think Tet easily his floor is like wide receiver 20, 24. So I think, he's got a pretty good safe wide receiver 2 there. Obviously, Joe Burrow, elite. George Kittle, still going strong, going into his going into his 9th season. Wow, that's crazy. Maybe 8th, 9th. I can't remember. I don't know how the experience shows here on Sleeper. But 31. He's last 4 seasons top 5 tight end at the position. I mean, he's basically been top 5 every year since his rookie year that he's been healthy. He missed a lot of games in 2020, but he's been just a machine, extremely reliable, great guy. You got to think with the wide receiver woes at the 49ers have been experiencing that's certainly going to continue, you would think. So, Tyrone, I love Tyrone. Everybody knows I love Tyrone, right? My guy from last year. Maybe okay. We'll see. He's obviously, I think he's going to start as a starter. Will he hold that job? Will Scatterbo take a lot of valuable touches from him? Singletary's still in town. So time will tell there. Josh Downs, got to get your guy. okay, Charbonnet, backup guy, Trey Harris, rookie, Marvin Mims, gadget guy. He'll have a couple games where he'll go double digits. Can you roll the dice and get lucky whenever, you play him? Or is he going to score, 6 points whenever you play him, right? Trey Benson looks sharp, but, James Conner always a ticking time bomb with an injury, but time will tell there. I do like the talent. I mean, he's going into year 3 already, isn't he? No, year 2. He's a rookie last year. That's right. And then, Wandell's already been cut. I can't remember who he picked up. Not really relevant. Jeez, I got pretty dirty. I need to take a shower. See, this is what I do for you guys. This is how I deliver. Right? Yeah, it came straight home, straight to mowing. Did the yard, we edging. Did the leaf blowing. Got done. Let the dog out. Boom. Come right back. Boom. I'm here doing the video. You guys wanted this Monday. You're getting it today. You're not getting an edit. Just gonna tell you right now. It's okay. It's okay. You guys get just raw, unfiltered Commish, and this will be delivered to you probably by, I don't know, maybe 8:30 tonight. So we'll see how close I am on my prediction. Anyway, so, Hawk, overall solid, very Hawk team to me, just a very solid, not sexy. I see a lot of question marks that are honestly probably going to be okay, pending any injuries. So, we'll give Hawk a solid, I'll give him a C+. Give Hawk a C+. For Duncan, I think Duncan is, without any injuries, Duncan is probably a Jeff Fisher contender. I think Hawk is right there as well, maybe just below. Neither one of these teams are really strong championship contenders. They'll flirt with the playoffs, certainly. Might get in, might not get in. I don't think either one of these teams are horse-ass teams, though, for sure. So, moving on. I wrote Golden Bowers as my team name, the Commish. I was just, in a different plane of existence. And I was staring at the board. Josh was pilfering through stickers. I don't recall why. I probably stared at the board for a good 3 minutes just trying to think of possible team names. It hit me. I thought it was funny. Golden Bowers. Get it? Brock Bowers. Golden, you get it, right? But I don't know that I want to have that crude of a name. Obviously, I gave Hawk a lot of flack last year for Hawk My Tua. Think of the kids, right? The example he's setting for his daughters. Obviously, I don't have any daughters. I don't have any kids at all. But, I still, maybe there's kids out there watching this, right? They stumble upon this, and I don't want that to necessarily be the representation of my team. So, you know what? Every other team, for the most part, seems to have a very consistent, very even names that hit. And you know what? My faith is often lost. It's often dead. In this league, sometimes in life, that's just how life goes. But I can never forget the one time that I've won a championship in this league that matters. Well, actually, the only time, right? I think the only time. The only time I've won a championship in this league back in 2015, all the way back 10 years ago, right? That's when the league really started, right? That's when we count them. Anything before that, we don't really count. 2012, 13, 14, we don't count those. 2015, it counts and on. Okay? I don't make the rules, right? I just enforce them. And I change them whenever I want, because I'm the commissioner. I get what I want. Hey, you guys don't like it? Start your own league, right? Who cares, right? So keeping the faith, right? Keeping the faith. I think I'm finally going to make a commitment to stick with this name. Stick with this name, because you know what? It's a good example for life. It's a good mantra to have in life and fantasy. Just keep the faith, and it might not work out for this week or this month or this year or 20 years, but eventually, if you keep the faith enough, you will be rewarded. And I certainly hope that this is the year, right? Craig, maybe you saw this already. I don't know. Certainly Craig's message came before I recorded this. Obviously, I started off 103, Justin Jefferson. Followed that up with four. I started 4 straight wide receivers last year. Nick did that last year. didn't have a very good time. And honestly, I took two of the same guys he took, right? So maybe I'm fucked. I don't know. But followed that up with Marvin Harrison Jr., praying for a bounce back there from him after a pretty bad rookie season relative to expectations. Garrett Wilson in the third, Rasheed in the fourth. A lot of people thought Rasheed was in the fourth was pretty early. Realistically, he probably should have gone maybe, I don't know, 7th, 8th round, probably. I thought about taking him, maybe waiting one more go around in the 5th because Hawks picks were already set in stone with his keepers. Didn't know if Duncan would make a run on him or not. Ultimately, I just quickly looked at the draft board too before I started this, and you know what? I don't regret it. 6 games. I knew he was going to get suspended. Honestly, kind of glad he's just getting him out of the way right now. The first 6 weeks, I'll miss him for half the regular season. He'll be back for the other half, and I think if those 4 guys are all healthy and playing, that nobody can really hold playing to the level that they're capable of playing. I really don't think. Here I go again. You know what? Should I say it? Should I just say it and just curse my team, right? Just like I said last year about the running back room, which turned out not technically untrue by the end of the year. Now, it looked very different from what I expected it to be at the beginning of the year, but it's, the wide receiver room on paper looks good when they're all healthy and they're all not suspended. So, also took Khalil Shakir and Christian Kirk late. Got to get your guy, Christian Kirk. Christian fucking Kirk! Everybody, joke that'll never get old, right? Christian Kirk. Who am I judging, right? I reuse jokes all the time. So, all tit for tat. Following up, going to running backs. Another got to get your guy, DeAndre Swift. This has got to get your guy draft, right? Like I told most of y'all, if y'all didn't know, I didn't do a single mock draft. I didn't read a single article. I read some tweets. I read some Reddit posts maybe as they popped up. I didn't actively seek them out. They just appeared on my timeline. And this was probably the least amount I prepared in any season. It was just vibes. It was just, I like these guys. I think these guys are good, and I'm going to take them. I don't like these other guys. I'm not going to take them. I'm not getting nothing too complex because you know what? At the end of the day, ultimately, this is a random number generator that we're playing, and you could do, well, for the most part, right? You can really screw up. Duncan, just kidding. You can really screw up Wilson, just kidding. It's just. Why do all that effort and go through all that time and energy and invest all that pain, or invest all that time and blood, sweat, and tears when the pain is more likely to arrive either way, right? Either way. So, anyways, I digress. I keep getting off track here. First video of the year, just free-flowing thoughts. DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, J.K. Dobbins, Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving obviously kept him in the 13th, and Jalen Wright, who's subsequently been cut today. I also kept Brock Bowers in the 8th. Great value, probably. Some are saying the best keeper. Others are saying somebody else, maybe. Who's to say, right? Who's to say? I say Brock, but others maybe say something else. And then I got C.J. Stroud in the 12th. Think a good bounce back year for him is in store. Really bad year last year. I think he was doing a little bit too much, talkie-talkie, walkie-walkie, and the offseason last year got a little bit big ahead from his rookie season. Seems to have kept his head down, been grinding over the offseason, lost a lot of weapons. Diggs gone, Tank gone, Nico's still there, but Christian Kirk's still there, got to get that stack, right? I think I'm really relying on Bucky to stay healthy, some guys like J.K. and Jalen to hold on to their starting jobs with rookies on their heels. Braylon Allen, can he unseat Brees, or can Brees be that guy again? Time will tell. Ultimately, I think this is an extremely solid team. I'm really happy with this team. Optimistic Commish, it's early, Just wait. Just you wait. So, I'm going to give this team a solid, not an A-. I'm going to give it a B+. I certainly think there's question marks there, right? I mean, you can argue that for the first 6 weeks, I really only have 3 wide receivers who are worth a damn. And one of them has a midget throwing him the ball, and the other one has a running back throwing him the ball. And the other one has a Michigan guy throwing him the ball, right? And has a hamstring injury already. So, I could certainly poke holes in this roster, no problem at all. That's what I'm more than capable of doing to the rest of your teams. But I need to prop my guys up, right? And honestly, I need to do better. I kind of intended going into this year to maybe just really be nice to everybody and not say anything mean or disheartening or not hurt anybody's feelings. You know what? That's just not me, guys. I got to be true to myself. I don't mean anything ill intent by anything that I say. I think most of you guys know that. It's all just jokes. It's all just good fun. Just ball busting. Maybe I should grow up and grow out of that. But you know what? I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna mean it. And I'm gonna prop you guys up, and I love you guys, and I support you guys. I tell you all the time, right? I certainly wish nothing but success and happiness and love for all of you in your personal lives. But this fantasy arena is not it, guys. It's not it. I want all of you to suffer. I want all of you to fail. I want there to only be one champion, and I want that one champion to be me, right? And I think all of you guys should feel that way. I certainly hope all you guys feel that way. So moving on here, doesn't contribute, B-. Playoff contender. I'm back. I'm going to be back in the playoffs. Guaranteed. Stamp it. Curse. Kiss of death. Back in the playoffs for the Commish. Keep the faith. Doesn't contribute. 4th pick, Mr. Craig Salvatore started off with Jahmyr Gibbs at the 104. Love that pick for him. Also got R.J. Harvey, Kyron Williams, kept him. Got to get your guy. And Austin Eckler. A lot of teams went very thin at running back, really loaded up on a bunch of dog shit wide receivers. Whoops, I'm sorry. At wide receiver, we have a bunch of wide receiver 2s. And Devontae Smith, Jameson Williams, JSN, Keon Coleman, Michael Pittman, Luther Burden, and Pop Douglas. Quarterback, you got Jalen Hurts and Caleb Williams. Don't really understand the Caleb Williams pick whenever you've got an elite guy like Hurts. And then you got Jake Ferguson, last team to take a tight end. Waited all the way till the 13th for old Craig. And I'm just going to be honest with you. This is a Jeff Fisher team if I've ever seen it. This is just a Jeff Fisher team if I've ever seen it. I could certainly be proven wrong. Obviously, he's got a really good 1-2 punch there at running back with Gibbs and Kyron. But he doesn't really have a true alpha dog wide receiver 1 on his team. Devontae Smith has been a career wide receiver 2. Jameson Williams, same thing. JSN, same thing. Keon hasn't even been that. Pittman has not really been that the last couple of years. Or maybe only outside of 1 year. Luther Burden, who knows? Got a lot of mouths to feed there. I really don't think that Bears offense is going to be as good as people think it is. I just don't know. I think the Bears might be cursed. Sorry, Nicky D. I know you're not watching, but sorry. And Pop Douglas is fun, I guess. So, a good, solid, middle-of-the-road C for Craig. Jeff Fisher probably still find a way to make the playoffs at 7-7. So, cool. Good for him. Next, Mr. Wilson, the Flow's Fury, got to get your guy, Saquon Barkley. Get the band back together. Ooh, this could be a theme. Got to get the band back together, Saquon Barkley. Also has Aaron Jones in the 6th, Joe Mixon in the 9th, who's not going to play maybe all season. But did get the handcuff of Nick Chubb, who's some people are saying he's washed, some people are saying he looks good again. Who knows? And then Tajay Spears, who's also out. So, and then Aaron Jones, of course, has his injury history. So, Wilson really just took about pretty much every injury-prone running back that he could take. See if it works out for him. Wide receiver, you got to get your guy, Mike Evans. Zay Flowers, Jerry Jeudy. Midseason, got to get your guy. Cooper Kupp, Alec Manor. Way too early for him, in my opinion, for a Tennessee offense. It's not going to be very good at all, but he could be the wide receiver too. Who knows? And then Pat Bryant, which I did like. I did like that pick. I really wanted him to come back around at the end of the 14th. Didn't happen. I think a good Cortland Sutton handcuff, which he doesn't have Cortland Sutton, but I think good Sutton handcuffs. So quarterback obviously kept Lamar in the third, great pick there. Tight end, he kept Sam Laporte in the seventh and got Kyle Pitts in the 10th. Does Cooper Kupp have anything left in the tank again? I mean, Jerry Jeudy with Joe Flacco is great. I think that's really good. I think that's a really good pick for him, honestly, in the fifth. Pretty good value. Maybe I should have taken him over Rasheed, in the fourth, but wasn't gonna do that. Mike Evans again, the fountain of youth, the eternal wide receiver one. Every year for the last 10 years, it seems like this guy's getting 1,000 yards and having a top 10 wide receiver season. Certainly I won't expect anything different until he's not playing football anymore. Lamar, great guy. Saquon probably due for a little bit of regression. A lot of people are saying, but I think he's good. He's still a good, nice, safe guy to take. Aaron Jones, rumors that he's going to lose his job. Cooper Kupp, does he have anything left in the tank? He looked pretty washed. Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts. Doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. Honestly, to me, this team, I think it could go pretty bad pretty quick. But we'll give Wilson a C-. Why not? C-. Could flirt with horse ass. Honestly, I don't think anybody's going to get a D. I don't know if anybody's going to get an A. I really think, and I feel like I say this every year, I'm a broken record, that really we had a very well-rounded draft. It seemed like there wasn't a lot of snipes. It seemed like people were getting who they wanted to get. Everybody seemed very well prepared, even though some picks took a long time. Duncan, whenever you have back-to-back picks, you make them back-to-back, okay? You don't spend 5 minutes, go up there and make a pick, come back, spend another 5 minutes before you put your second pick on the board, right? Come on, it's called common decency, guy, all right? No, let's not ever let this guy draft on the turn ever again, please, all right? Digress. C- for Wilson. I think maybe a French playoff team just as easily could be horse ass as he could be in the playoffs, in my opinion. So, moving on here, the Golden Path. Mr. Santiago starts his draft with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He kept T. Higgins in the fourth. Got Rome Odunze in the fifth. Golden in the sixth. Dante Thornton in the 10th. Keenan Allen in the 11th. Torrey Horton in the 12th. For running backs, he gets Travion. Got to get your guy in the second. Brees in the third. Brian Robinson, new backup to CMC in the 9th. And Keaton Mitchell in the 14th. He really needs some running backs, guys. This might be the worst running back room in the league. Better hope Travion and Brees are freaking world beaters, buddy. I'm telling you that, because Brian Robinson's not that guy. Maybe CMC gets hurt, and he is, but very real possibility of that. Keaton Mitchell's cut bait. This is a very Savoy back half of the draft. Savoy did this last year. Just a bunch of dart throws on a bunch of rookies, young guys. Savoy seems to love going after rookies in these drafts. Sometimes it works out for him. Obviously, he got Jaden Daniels last year. That's also on his roster. Kept him in the 8th. Got Tyler Warren as his tight end in the 7th and picked up J.J. McCarthy, another rookie, late in the 13th. Which was really, I thought was really kind of gross, to be honest. Really kind of disrespectful to his favorite university to take a Michigan man. He can say all he wants about, he's not Michigan anymore. Well, once you're Michigan, you're always a Michigan man, buddy. And to me, if having J.J. McCarthy on your team kind of makes you a Michigan man by proxy. Argue with me all you want. That's probably just the simple facts of the matter. So, really, really kind of gross. Obviously, I hate T. Higgins. Everybody should hate T. Higgins. T. Higgins hates T. Higgins. T. Higgins hates football. T. Higgins doesn't like to win. T. Higgins cost me a playoff spot last year. Not that I would have done anything with it. Is Amon going to come down with Tesla, Travion? Is he just a kickoff guy? Brees, can he keep his job over Braylon? Question mark. Does Keenan have anything left in the tank? Can Thornton actually do something, or is he just a flash-in-the-pan speed guy? I don't even know. Sam Darnold in Seattle, is that actually going to work? Is it? I'm not convinced. I'm not. Odunze, I'm not convinced of him either. Apparently, he's the wide receiver one in Chicago. DJ Moore, washed up, done. Rome's the guy now. He's good. He looked not good last year. So, and I don't think Caleb's any good either, to be honest. So, maybe Tyson Bagent will come in and save their season later in the year, but I don't know. Tyler Warren, I do like. I think good value there for Tyler Warren. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is good as well, but I'll give Savoy. I think I'm also going to give Savoy a C-. Just don't really love it. Not a lot to get excited about, inspired about for me. Again, I think him and Wilson are kind of be right in that same tier for me. Which, speaking of tiers, take a quick little break as we're halfway through the draft. I think power rankings are going to be different this year. I was thinking about this as I was mowing. I would like to do a tier. I think I did 1 tier power rankings last year. Really seemed to like it. Craig, I do need you to create some AI images of all the teams. It seems like everybody's team names are in Sleeper, locked in. If you could generate some team picks for me, I would appreciate it. So I could put that into a tier and maybe, make sure I didn't mute my mic. And probably maybe once a quarter, I'll probably do a preseason power ranking, tier ranking before the season starts. I will then likely do one after week 4, going into week 5, so on and so forth every quarter of the season. You guys get how quarters work, right? You're business guys, you're smart guys. I think that maybe we'll just try that as a different avenue. Should be a lot less time intensive for me on a week to week, and maybe just a nice little fresh new format for you guys, right? So weekly State of the Union videos will continue, of course. Moving on here, we got the McConkiners drafting at the 107. Got to get your guy CeeDee Lamb. JD couldn't wait to rip that Micah Parsons jersey off. Had the CeeDee Lamb jersey underneath. Played out perfectly. Follows that up with keeping Nico in the 2nd. Got Terry McLaurin in the 3rd. Chris Olave in the 6th. Chris Godwin in the 9th. And Cedric Tillman in the 12th. I keep saying that. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for the season, man. I'm ready to be breaking down the game of the week, baby. Running backs has got James Conner, Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, and Najee Harris. Quarterbacks, he got his guy, Patty Mahomes, and got Justin Herbert late. Don't really understand that, but, good luck to you. And then he kept TJ Hawkinson in the 11th, which I like. I like TJ. I think he's a really, really good, underrated tight end in this league. Easily one of the top 4 guys going right now in my mind. Maybe top 3. Probably top 4, right? Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Kittle, and then probably Hawkinson in my book. So, for JD, again, I think it's a very JD team. Just grabbing value, just grabbing solid guys. Nobody really sexy. But that top 3 wide receivers, again, it could be easily one of the best in the league. Obviously, Terry signed. To have him as your wide receiver 3 is phenomenal. That's how you win this league is wide receiver, first and foremost. You can make do at quarterback. You can make do at running back. Tight ends are kind of a wash for the most part. But having an elite 3 or potentially 4 wide receivers. What is this? Turn on reactions to express yourself with a hand gesture during a video call. Okay, I'm not in a video call, though. That's weird. I guess I don't even know how my computer works, guys. I really don't. I basically just use it to make the league schedule and to do these videos and to edit videos. That's it. I really don't use it for anything else. Otherwise, I just use my phone. So I'm probably significantly underutilizing the power of this thing. But, I'm just an old guy. I don't know what to do. If Olave can get back, which, Olave's ceiling... is a wide receiver 2. That's what he's proven thus far in his career. I don't have a lot of confidence in that Saints offense. But Godwin, I love Godwin, obviously. Tillman, just a flyer. Connor, Pollard, Etienne, solid. If Etienne doesn't work out, he's got big speed. Najee should be okay. Just a good maybe bye week fill in. I think JD's got a pretty good team. Not good, not great. I give him a B-. I do think he he's going to be in the playoffs. He's always in the playoffs, So JD, playoff team, whatever. Next year, we got a reigning champion back in the championship ranks. The Dirty Birds of War starts his draft off with CMC. Follows it up with Amari and Hampton. He's got Devontae Chan, kept him in the 5th. Picked up old Bill Krosky in the 10th. Bashal Tootin in the 11th. Ray Davis in the 12th. That rounds out to round out his running back room. Wide receiver, he's got Malik Neighbors, Travis Hunter, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs. Kept Neighbors in the 3rd, by the way. Pretty good keeper. Jawan Jennings in the 8th. That's it for wide receiver. Only took 5 wide receivers. Plug loves gobbling up those running backs. You know him. He knows that he can make a trade for a wide receiver. He can make a call to the trade cave. Come on down to the trade cave. Yeah, it'd be good. Wilson. Hey, Wilson, come on down to the trade cave. Maybe you'll go this year. Maybe you won't. I really hope he doesn't. For the good of all of us, Wilson. Okay? He got Evan Ingram as his tight end in the 9th. Last team to take a quarterback, Justin Fields in the 13th. Gross follows it up with Trevor Lawrence in the 14th, who's probably truly going to be his QB1. But Plunk, he can't resist trying to get those little rushing quarterbacks. He loves them. He loves value in them. So, a little bit of an underwhelming draft. Duncan says that Plunk had the best draft. I don't think so, personally. I think I like JD's draft better. I like my draft better. I think, CMC, if he can bounce back, have one last great year, maybe. I do believe in Omarion, even though that Chargers O-line might be a little shaky. HA and ticking time bomb for an injury. Krosky might be just nobody, and same with Tootin. Same with Ray Davis. Diggs is the wide receiver 1, but it's New England. So Waddle stinks. Everybody knows he stinks. Hunter, yeah. So I'll give Connor a C+. Playoff team, probably, just because it's him and he's going to do something in the season to make that happen. But I don't love it. Next year, major comeback season. Starts his draft. Mr. Wheeler, your assistant to the commish, starts off with Drake London. He also made a trade. We had one draft day trade this year. Blaine and Nick swapped thirds, fourths, and eighths. Didn't really fully understand that one, but it is what it is. So he picks up Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley. Got to get your guy. Brandon Ayuk and Kyle Williams. Running back, he got JT, Isaiah Pacheco, Chase Brown, kept him in the 9th, got to get your guy, and Dylan Sampson late in the 13th round. I do like that. Pretty good pickup there. Could be this year's Bucky Irving. Could be, some are saying. For tight ends, you got David Njoku and Dalton Kincaid, and then he also got Bo Nix, got to get your guy, and Brock Purdy for his quarterback. So, 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks. Interesting strategy for Nick. You don't see that very often in this league anymore. Very old school strategy. Nick's a very old school conservative guy, as everybody knows. I don't know. It's a solid team. It's okay. I think Nick's drafted worse. I think Nick's not really drafted much better. Maybe last year or a couple years ago. But again, this guy's one of the best in-season managers. I certainly don't expect him to be competing for horse ass with this team. Might even find his way back into the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. Wouldn't that be something? And we're all rooting for the guy, right? Old cripple, old crit, right? So yeah, we'll give Nick a solid C+, right? Yeah. C+. Next here, we got the father figures. Actually, rebranded back to the Truck Nuts. Old Josh Ford. Starts this draft with Aston Janty. Of course, got, that's a big Ford pick. Got Alvin Kamara, kept him in the 5th. Jordan Mason in the 8th was actually a pretty good pick based on reports. And Aaron Jones, poor health. Scatabo, again, upside guy. Ollie Gordon. A lot of picks that were not Ford picks in my mind. Trey McBride in the 2nd, that's not really a Ford pick in my mind as his tight end. Obviously, he's got Sutton, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, Xavier Legette, Hollywood Brown, Kyler Murray, and Jordan Love at quarterback there. A very unforward team in my mind. Very unforward. You start Genty and you think, bang, this is it. Maybe he's going to go back-to-back running backs with JT or maybe even a quarterback possibly. But I think Sutton is his wide receiver 1. I think is going to be just fine. DJ Moore, solid wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 3 doesn't really have one. Maybe Pearsall's good. He certainly had flashes last year. Really only healthy wide receiver on the team currently. Jaden Higgins, who knows, rookie. Leggett, maybe. Hollywood Brown, maybe for the first 6 weeks. After that, probably not. And probably not even then for the first 6 weeks. But I think it's got some really good guys, guys I really like, some really sexy guys on here. I think his running back room is a pretty good stable. Those 5 guys he's got there have good potential at least. Maybe if not really good right now, at least good potential down the road. Wide receiver, I think it's going to be his Achilles heel. I'm going to give Ford a C-. I think he will potentially be fighting to stay out of the horse ass. I don't think it's a playoff team for Ford, personally. I really don't. Penultimate team here, the Swamp Donkeys. Starts his draft, probably a dream start, I think, for Blaine. Starts his draft with Derrick Henry and Ladd McConkey. 2 guys that could have been kept. A lot of debate was made about Hawk. If Duncan was going to go a different direction, would Hawk have kept Derrick Henry instead? To be able to get maybe potentially Jamar Chase and Derrick Henry. Didn't happen, obviously. But he was very excited to get Ladd. I threw him back in the pot from what would have been a 7th round pick to now he's in the 2nd round, right? That should be one of the keepers that weren't, the best keepers that weren't. How high did they go versus where they could have been kept, right? He also got Kenny Walker for his other running back. Jaden Blue, Woody Marks, and Sean Tucker. So a bunch of small backup third string running backs. All 3 of those guys. So pretty weak there outside of Derek and Kenny. Wide receiver room, obviously, Ladd went Big Dick swinging, Big Dick hunting, big game hunting, whatever you want to call it, with taking Emeka in the 4th. Also got Xavier Worthy, kept Xavier Worthy, in the 5th, kept Puka in the 6th, Jaden Reed in the 7th. I like those 3. I mean, it's solid. Darnell Mooney in the 11th, always a solid, sneaky guy. Got Drake May in the 8th and followed it up with again, a lot of guys taking 2 quarterbacks. I just really don't understand that. I really don't. Why don't you just keep taking dart throws and swings at actual position players? But teach their own. He's a 2-time champion, so who am I to judge? I certainly don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And Tucker Kraft is tight end late, which I like that. Great value late for Tucker Kraft. A lot of sleeper hype on him. Could have a potentially very good season, outperform a lot of tight ends that were drafted in front of him a lot. Anyway, I do like his wide receiver room. Just with Puka and Ladd alone, I still think Jaden Reed's electric. Emeka could certainly be very, very good. Xavier, I'm not really in on him. Mooney is an okay guy. I think Blaine's running back depth is really, really has a potential to get really exposed, just as much as these guys could maybe be something later in the season. And some injuries, some shakeups, maybe, you never know. But quarterbacks, obviously, I'm not really a fan of Drake. I'm not really a fan of Dak. So, I don't know. I'll give Blaine C+. I'll give Blaine C+. I think pretty much everybody's gotten like a C or a D. Hey, no D's, no A's. I told you guys, you're all kind of right there in the cluster. It's going to be a very exciting, very tight season. I'm really, really looking forward to it. C+. I think this is a fringe playoff team. I think he's got the pieces, especially if he can get some help at running back. But let's say Derek or Kenny goes down. Kenny goes down all the time. I really don't know what he does with his RB2. I just don't. I don't know. And RB2 is not the most impactful position you need. Obviously, I'm sure he's going to be scouring the waiver wire to try to get the next hot running back, which there's going to be 2 or 3 throughout the season, no doubt. It happens every year. But I don't know. C plus, maybe, probably a playoff team. Probably not horse ass, but could be. And then that brings us to our horse ass bitch boy. All you need is love. Little drummer boy. All you need is love. Starts his draft with AJ Brown. Also gets DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Jordan Addison, Rashid Shaheed, and Romeo Dobbs, a former Gotta Get Your Guy of the Commish. His running backs were David Montgomery in the third. Just so you heard me right. Caleb Johnson in the 6th. Javonte Williams. Chuba Hubbard kept him in 11th. Great. Good pick. And Jerome Ford in the 13th, who just seems like nobody really gives a fuck about Jerome Ford anymore. So, quite sad. Chuba and David Montgomery are really good. Caleb, I'm really just not convinced that he's going to be very good at all. But obviously, he's in store now for a top 15 running back season, especially since I drafted Jalen Warren as well. But, tight end, he's got Colson Loveland, Isaiah Likely, got to get your guy. And he got Josh Allen in the 2nd. Couldn't do the Cooper Kupp, Travis Etienne stack like he did last year. Probably would have been akin to, I don't know, JT and AJ Brown to start. I think his top 2 picks are extremely solid, very good guys. I thought it was a little bit of a reach for Montgomery. But again, when you're drafted on the turn, you can't really look at value the same way because you're not picking again for a long time, and you kind of just got to get who you want, right? Because you don't know who's going to come back to you. There's 23 picks again before you pick, right? So DK Metcalf, I'm totally out on. I'm totally out on Arthur Smith. I'm out on any offense that Arthur Smith is a part of. He's not a good offensive coordinator. He's not a good coach. He shouldn't be in the league. He's a nepo baby. Terrible, terrible, terrible. He's got a fucking 50-year-old throwing them the ball and Aaron Rodgers. Expectations couldn't be lower. I really, that was one of the worst places DK probably could have gone in the offseason was to Pittsburgh. A team that will probably never have a good quarterback again. So, fat ass Deebo Samuel, Jordan Addison suspended only 3 games for driving drunk, but Rashid just does a little speeding with his friends, who nobody even knows if he's really even driving or not. I think that's very much up in the air. And he gets 6 games, so, whatever. I certainly don't condone drunk driving, and I think the NFL should have an iron stance against drunk driving, but they won't because they're in bed with the beer companies, so and the liquor. So, Colson Loveland again. I'm just not really. There's just so many mouths to feed. They just took so many guys. There's just no way they're all going to be good. Maybe Colson is one of the ones who can be. I'll believe it when I see it. Javonte, washed up. He's done. I do like Shaheed, sneaky value. I mean, his wide receiver room's not bad. It is AJ Brown. Deebo could be good, maybe. Still's got a little bit left in the tank. Jordan Addison, when he gets back, should be good. Obviously, he looked pretty good in the preseason. I do like Shaheed, good burner. Dobbs, he'll get a few touchdowns. Are you going to start him when he gets them? Maybe, probably not. Likely Mark Andrews injury away from potentially being relevant, but he really didn't do much outside like 2 or 3 games last year. And Josh Allen should be great. Josh Allen, certainly in this league, that's been done time and time again. You have 1 or 2 players that can drag a terrible carcass of a team to the playoffs and sometimes even to the championship game, right? Dylan Shade, ever heard of him? CMC. But I just don't know if Josh has that level of power in him. I'm going to give Rip a C-. I don't think he's going to be in the playoffs. And I think if he repeats his horse ass, I'm not saying he will, but he might quit the league. Because I just don't know that he could handle being back-to-back horse ass. I don't know. It's never been done back-to-back. We've never really had even a repeat winner. So to go back-to-back, to be their first repeat winner, I think you would have to quit. So I don't even know if I can handle it, to be honest with you. I thought I had it bad enough, but anyways, I don't think he'll be in the playoffs, but who knows? You never know. So anyways, that's all I got, fellas. Draft recap video in the books. Looking forward to a fantastic season. I'll be back 1 week from today with a preview of Week 1's matchups. Can't wait. Excited. Football, Arkansas football this weekend. Alabama A&M up in Fayetteville. I could have swore that we were playing A-State in Little Rock for the first game of the year. And I didn't realize that wasn't the case until just a few days ago. I even wrote it on my whiteboard at work that we were playing Arkansas State. What an idiot. Just had a lot going on. So, anyways, good luck this season, fellas. Love y'all. And as always, woo pig.